If you prefer butt welding your patch panels, today we're going to take a look at 2 ways to do that so that the seam will last and hold up to any type of weather conditions. The simplest and fastest way to butt weld a seam is to just take 2 pieces of metal, butt them up to each other, and you can leave a space in there if you like. Weld it up. Grind the welds just lightly. You're not going to grind them completely flat. Then you're going to tap that seam down and fill it. The other way to do it is to butt the 2 pieces up again, but this time you're going to bend or put a bevel right there on the edge so that when you put the pieces together, an Eastwood makes a good tool for that. But I just use a tool like this. This is a sheet metal seamer. I think it's for gutters, but you can just bend, or you can use a pliers. You're going to put like a 45-degree angle on there, and then you're going to butt weld these together. Your weld is going to be in that valley. Then you'll grind that and fill it. And here's a shot of that seam up close. Here's a shot of the seam with the bevel. And it did get a little ugly right here, but it's solid. We'll just grind that and fill it. The best thing to use when preparing your bodywork for filler is a fiber resin disc. And you do it on slow speed so you don't build up heat. And it's good to get your welds as clean as possible before you fill, and we just used a speed blaster to do that. Here's a shot of that beveled seam just before filler. For the straight up butt welded seam, we're going to grind it, but again we're not going to grind them completely flat. Just lightly tap it down and fill it. And that's good enough. On a car, this seam would be easy to tap down because it has support. But we're going to use a little dolly like this and just lightly tap this seam below the surface. These 2 methods of butt welding your patch panels will last a long time in any type of driving conditions. Again, a plain butt weld that's ground lightly, sandblasted, tapped down and filled, and a beveled butt weld that's ground lightly, sandblasted, and filled. And here's a shot of the back side, the butt, and the bevel. If you do have to tap a seam down around a rigid edge, you can tap that seam down while welding, while those welds are hot, or use some heat from a torch later. The good thing is that we didn't grind these welds completely flat. They're still thick and solid, and the seam is low. On both of these, the seam is below the original surface. Now we can just fill. Finally, in case you're interested, I was using a very flexible filler spreader from Saxon, S-A-C-H-S-O-N, and being very flexible like that it might work real well around curved surfaces. It's good to have a buffer between the seam and the finish, and filler works great for that. It doesn't have to be thick either, as you can see by this magnet. I hope you enjoyed this video on 2 ways to butt weld your patch panels. If you did, and you'd like to get my latest videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.